Hi, this is Jack Downs again with another tutorial. This time it's on the transitions exercise. The idea here is that you've downloaded 6 little files, transitions 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You're going to arrange them on the timeline in that order, and then we're going to do it you're going to make at least 3 different files with this. First, you're going to make one with a straight cut, which is just what we've been doing all along, side by side. We're going to make one with a crossfade, and one with the special effects transitions. That'll make more sense in a minute. You will be creating an intro slide, a title slide, and a credits at the end. I'll show you those briefly, but I'm not going to go through them all because we did them before. So I've started up Movie Studio. It asked me about a new project, and I said yes, power user. I saved it with a name called Transitions Tutorial. So that made it a VF file, and I've already downloaded my other files. Because I want these, I know what order I want these to appear on the timeline. The easiest thing for me to do is to just drag and drop them on the timeline or go add media in that order, one after another, so I know I get them where I want. And I'm going to put them on here so that I can change this if I want, if it gets screwed up. So the video is on the red track number 2, and the audio is on number 3. That's number 1. That's number 2. That's number 3. I could do add media, it would do the same thing. A little awkward here. 4, 5, and 6. Okay, good. This is just clips of some former students talking in their practice session. So right now we have what? Oh, by the way, I need to put a title slide on there, right? Remember, go to Media Generator, Text and Titles, drag and drop it on here. You're going to go in and change the background to black by making it already is black, but not making it not be transparent. You're going to change the text to say whatever I say in the assignment. You're going to do change the text size and so on, and also you're going to make it only be about 5 seconds, which is about there, I think. And you're going to add that 1 second fade. So I'm going to zoom in a little bit so we can see that better. That 1 second fade, right there. Good. And there's going to be a credit roll at the end. I'm not going to do this all for you again. It's going to be a little different though. I say more like 4 seconds this time. So I'm going to close up from the right to 4 seconds. I'm going to match event length so it knows what length it is. But I don't want to use plain scrolling on black. I want you to use timed fade on black. Okay? And then I tell you putting in something here, something here, something here. And then I'll ask you to delete these. You have the option to delete or insert roles with a right click. Delete row. I think you only need 1, 2, 3 there according to my instructions. Okay, so you'll do that too. I'm not going to fill it in though, I'll let you do that. And again, of course, there would be a fade in here of about 1 second. Good. Okay, so right now you would have, and by the way, at each one of these stages, you're going to edit the intro and the credit roll because the name is going to change, sort of. And each time, you'd probably be safest to save it as a new VF. Do a project save as each time. So this one's going to be the straight one, straight cuts. What does straight cut mean? It's just this right here. It means we go from one clip to the next, one clip to the next, just back and forth like that. No great revelation. It's what we've been doing all along. I'm going to make this a little bigger here, a little bigger here, like that, so you can see it a little bigger. Yeah, okay, good. So really, that's all there is to stage 1, right? Just make sure you've edited everything correctly, save as you go, make movie, render, which is what we call rendering, make movie as normally, MP4, name it as suggested in the instructions, and so on. Great. All done with stage 1. You'll turn over the paper and you'll be on stage part 2. Okay, here's the idea of crossfades. On crossfades, we take one clip and we overlap it with the other clip. Okay? Overlap it with the other clip. Now you're going to see that when you go to overlap one clip over another, it's going to want to stick at 1 second. Okay? That's 1 second it's going to stick at. And 1 second is a good crossfade. All right? And then you have to take the next one and push it into this one 1 second, and so on down the line. And then you'll have to move your credit roll so that everything ends at the same point. And remember, we always have video with audio underneath the intro slide and the credit roll and anything else. We never just have blank, no sound. We always want to listen to something while we watch something. So what is the idea of this crossfade watch? When I go over, I fade between one to the other. I fade from one to the other, crossfade. This is what it looks like in real motion. A second isn't very long, but we'll look at it anyway. See that fade? Just a little fade. It softens the transition. Strangely, to me, sometimes it makes it feel like the video lasts longer, but it doesn't really. It actually lasts less time. There are some video editors which will allow you to do a crossfade like this, but they kind of like make up the frames. Imagine them. Make up fake frames for the crossfade. This actually uses the true clips that you have. Okay, and you would keep on going down the road, all the way down, right? And you would do each one of those. You would save it with a new name. You would change the name here in the intro slide. You change the name in the credit roll, because now this would be crossfades. Save it as crossfades, and you export, render an MP4, now named your name and crossfades. Good. Okay. Now what? Number 3, the last required stage, is I want you to increase these crossfades to about 2 seconds. Now, unfortunately, there's not going to be it's not going to want to just grab at 2 seconds and stop like it did. You felt that little stickiness at 1 second. But you can gauge it'll be about twice as much. Actually, mine kind of has there a little bit. So I'm going to go to 1 second, then about to 2 seconds, about there, and so on. And I'm only going to do the first few. You're going to do them all. About 1 second is there, so 2 seconds is about there. Okay, so I made much longer crossfades. If I just looked at these as a crossfade, now you can watch a crossfade. It's a much slower crossfade. I've made these longer because I want to accentuate what we're going to add to these. We're going to add these video transitions. These are special effects, right? See, I clicked on this video FX tag. We were in Project Media, right? That shows what we have on here, right? Okay, I have transitions. Actually, let's use transitions, not video FX. Sorry, transitions is the tab I want. Transitions is the tab I want. Okay, these are little animations of what these transitions are. You can see when you look over them. It's a flash, a gradient wipe, a page roll. These are, I would say, somewhat, as I said earlier, amateurish, maybe a little immature, some of them a little wild. They're really going to attract too much attention to the transition in real life. If you have kind of a hokey video and you want to make it kind of goofy and like that, well then fine. But although you can use them here, in general I don't want you to use them otherwise, like in other projects. But I want you to see what they are. So I'm going to take, the only way you use one of these is you're going to drag it, pick one, and drag and drop it on the transition area. So I'm going to take this barn door and drag and drop it on this transition area. It's going to bring up a window where I can change the settings and everything, and you certainly can play with those. I'm not going to. I'm just going to accept what we got. And now I'm going to play through it, and now watch what happens on the screen. So the barn door. Okay, that's a little goofy. Let me do another one. Let's do something kind of, how about a cascade? 3D blinds. I'll do that. On the second one, each one of these transitions, I want you to use a different one. Use a different one on each. So now let's, and then you close it up, or you can play with it. And then let's watch this one go through, and so on. Okay, and so on and so forth. You're going to, stop. You're going to, again, save your work as you go. Save this as a new project. Now it's going to be special effects or effects transition, effects trans, your name, something like that. Each one of these transitions is going to have a special effect applied. Now they're 2 second transitions, 2 second crossfades become special effects kind of transitions. And you're going to save it again. You're going to render it again. Each time you're going to make sure you get what you want, and then you have 3 files ready to upload to Moodle. Good. Now maybe you want to get the extra credit. The extra credit, again, I'm going to have you remove these special effects, by the way. If you click on it, right, and you click on the X, you will delete it, I believe. Oops, let me see. No, you just uncheck it. and it goes away. Now it looks like it's still there, but it's not actually in effect anymore. See? So that's how you get rid of these things. You click on the little editing button that's in there, and you uncheck it. So now it is not there anymore, right? And again, see in this one now, it's just a transition. That's all, just a transition. Okay, but here's what I want you to do this time. I've asked you to make there's 3 fades to and from black. And then last 2, make them fades to and from white. Okay. I'm not going to tell you all this, how this works, because why? Because this is extra credit if you want to do this part. And here's the idea. When I had my straight transition, I went right from one thing to the other. If for some reason I had separated these, what would happen? It would be black in between. Why is it black? It's because there's nothing underneath. Remember, in video, the thing on top wins. The video on top wins. If there is no video there, then it's black. Well, can you imagine a way to fade to black and then fade from black back into the next thing? How to do that manually? I'll give you a clue. We already had an idea presented. What happens if let's get this back down here. If I make a fade here for a second, for instance, and now I run through it, what happens? She starts to disappear like to black. Now, he's right there, but of course I need another fade here. Another fade here, right? So that's to black. Now, what if you want to do it to white, though? How do you do that? Okay, so I guess I'm kind of doing this for you, even though I said I wasn't going to, right? That's about 1 second. Right about there. How do I get white in there? Or maybe some other color, right? Where do I get a color? Look at your media generators. You see you have solid color here, right? That what happens to be white. But you could edit that to make it be any color at all. What happens if I just took some white and I stuck it down there? Well, I'm not going to see the white here, right? Because I've got video on top of it. But as I'm fading to what's below. And then when I continue along, I fade up from what's below. So that's a fade to white. So a fade to black, fade to white, and it could be fade to red or whatever color you want to make. Because of course these can be edited to be any color that you want. Okay. So I tell you to do 2 of one and 3 of the other. Finally, I ask you to do something else. Make a transition so that they slide. I'm going to do a slide. You know what? I'm going to leave that there. I may show you that in class. Let's get a little bit much. The extra credit, maybe I'll show you that in class. All right, that's enough for today for this tutorial. And I hope it helped. Otherwise, make sure to talk to me about it and ask questions. Okay, I lied. I am going to add just a tiny bit more. So I want to show you one more thing, and it relates to the extra credit too. Okay, if I've been putting in like white on some of these transitions, I've had to move these tracks around. I lost the place where I had my intro slide. It'd probably be sitting here on top of it. I need to get some more tracks. I'm actually going to need to get a couple more. How do I get more tracks? Pretty easy. Right-click on the track and say Insert Video Track. Again, Insert Video Track. I got extra video tracks. Remember, I had my media generator, titles and text down here, which I'm going to change the back, not the text color, no. I'm going to change the background to not transparent. Right now it just says sample text. I'm not going to write anything else in there. Remember, for this stage, it'd probably say extra credit and then your name after it, in big and small, something like that. All right, good. And it would have a fade out at the end, you would think. And I'm going to close this up. It would be only about, it could be as much as, oops, I don't want to do that. Not a fade. It could be as much as, 5 seconds. Something like that, whatever. Let's say 5 seconds. Okay, good. All right, so the issue is, I said, I want you to make this text slide. How can the text slide? Remember how we added this transition to the crossfades? Fancy transitions to the crossfades? Well, you don't have to do it to a crossfade. You can just do it to a fade. So why don't we take this and make a 1 second fade on either side of it, right? Now, automatically, there's a problem right now. We don't want to see her before we see the title. But we're going to apply a transition to that fade. Transition, this is the, you can see all the little animations. This is a slide transition. I'm going to drop this slide transition here. Okay, good. And I'm going to drop the slide transition here. Okay. So it slid both ways. Did it really? Not really. Here's the problem. It's going to slide from a strange direction. And look, we're seeing a big piece of black slide, not just the text. And then we're seeing it slide that way. That's not what we really want. What we want is, I'm going to go edit those again, is if you look under the defaults, we want a slide in left to right, and then a slide out left to right, so it slides right through. Okay, good. Does that give us what we want? Well, sort of. It's sliding, but the whole thing is sliding. Well, we need something to, so we just see black the whole time, right? Okay, let's just move this up. And let's go get some black. So go to Media Generators, Solid Color, throw it down there. I don't need quite as much. And I need to change the color of it. I'm going to change the color to black. Good. Now what does it say? Or do? Now it looks like the text slides in and it slides out. But we don't have any fade there. That's the problem. The one reason I've extended this slightly over is I want to use that 1 second of fade to begin just after the text slides out. So the text is slid and then we have a fade. So I think nicely put together, manual slide in and slide out, and then it fades out like that. And of course the text would say something different. So that's the way you have to know how to add extra tracks. You may need a number of extra tracks. This idea of layering, color, text, things sliding, sounds at the same time, and so on. This is a bit more advanced editing idea. It's something for you to play with. And you can actually create lots of effects this way.